R2D2 computer speaking. මගේ එන්ට ඇහෙනවද?
Hello and welcome to the Bad Take.
This is Tamara.
And this is Himal. Today we are once again joined by Dilly, our resident movie and pop culture expert.
That's a too big a title to take on my own.
And the ever controversial Chubb _
Oh wow! Okay.
who has not been very active on social media for a while now. I think it's on a self-imposed exile. So today we thought we'd talk about 90s pop culture, and because Tamara might feel a little left out, we thought we might include a little bit of early 2000s also, because he's so young and he's so much younger than all of us.
So first, I think we should thank Himal for like making us the resident uncles of
Yeah.
Twitter now.
Yes.
Like looking nostalgically back at everything that was better back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that.
What were the late 80s like?
Yeah. Thankfully, I don't remember any of it. So I was in Montessori in '89, I think. 9. Yeah. Good times.
Times.
Very late times.
Yeah. So I guess we could start by talking about teledramas.
So what's the earliest teledrama you remember watching? Earliest clip of whatever.
Probably Kopika Day.
I think the earliest thing I remember is actually Giraya.
Oh shit, yeah.
I have a
But
vague...
Giray was like in 94 or something, right? 93, 94?
Yeah, I don't really remember. So I know that there were older teledramas like Lahiru Dahasak and all
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that
Yashora,
stuff.
yeah.
Yashora, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I don't really remember watching them as they came out.
Okay.
I remember like Ruban used to repeat telecast these like in the mornings.
Yeah.
So I remember like watching those on repeat telecast when I came back from school or something. But the earliest thing I remember watching as it came out was actually Giray, I think.
Giray was terrifying, I remember.
Giray was terrifying.
I
Giray
used to
was
like
very
hide
scary.
behind the door when
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
her name?
Shirisha Gunawardana.
Oh, she was fantastic.
She was fantastic.
And it was billed as a psychological thriller / horror kind of thing, right?
So I still haven't read the book. There
Yeah.
is a book. I need to find that book and read it.
I have actually. It's different. Tonally,
Really?
it's quite different. I wasn't scared. I wouldn't describe it as scary, but the teledrama definitely was.
Teledrama definitely
Yeah.
was.
What's the actress's name?
That's her name.
That's her name,
That's
sure,
her name.
okay.
Shirisha Gunawardana is her name.
Oh right, yeah.
I don't remember her character's name.
Lucy Hami or something Hami. Yes.
Yes, Lucy
Oh my
Hami.
god, she was scary.
She was scary.
Do you guys remember that?
Giray is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
So
yeah.
it's like Vasantha Chaturani like going from this meek, newly brought in bride to like
Right.
taking over the household,
yeah.
while this menacing old woman just
Yeah.
patrols around the place.
She works there. She was like the
Yeah, she's like the butler /
yeah,
family
Caretaker,
caretaker
whatever,
person.
and she has kind of taken it upon herself to protect the family name and the property
protect
and
the house,
everything. Yeah.
And there's this whole supernatural.
There was a
vibe
supernatural element to it.
it.
Yeah. That's the thing. I'm not sure the book had that.
I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
read or even seen the book.
I think the entire premise was that she walks around carrying an
A
gira
gira,
with a dehi gadiya
Yeah.
in between, and dehi kapana
Yeah.
she was doing that,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
That was scary as shit. I remember that.
Okay, so what do you guys remember?
Some of the earliest teledramas I remember, I think I remember this one episode of Ocean where there's an earthquake and like someone dies, I think, from a collapsed building. And that was scary for me. I was very little. And one of the local teledramas I remember watching from beginning to end and like being very engrossed in it was, I think, Manokaya. That whole like thing, I even remember them shooting a behind the scenes episode of how they actually constructed that house inside a forest with like, it was like a log cabin kind of situation. That was a really interesting like premise, right?
Do you remember who directed that?
No.
I know Buddhas Vidanachi was
Yeah,
in it,
he
right?
was,
He was the main guy.
Yeah.
He was in like a whole bunch of like TV shows like that. No, he was like the go-to guy for Jayanta Chandrasiri and all
He
those
might
like.
have been like a Rupani employee at that point, right?
Yeah, was he? Yeah, he was. He hosted Shanida Ivan and stuff, right? And he was in Dandupastamani, of course, and Akala Sandhya and a bunch of others. No? And he was almost typecast, I think. Like not really, but I think he was very selective when he was picking roles, and he used to kind of go for like supernatural / like
It'd be
that was his
like
shtick back then.
And also like very imposing, intimidating characters.
The serious older kind of guy.
Yeah, I never liked him much. I mean, he was okay. He was alright. Yeah, him and Shriyantha Mendes.
Are you saying you didn't like him or you were scared of him?
No, I don't know. I mean, I guess I didn't. I wasn't a huge fan of. I know. Actually, no. I can't think of anything to complain about. It was fine. It was fine.
So you were just scared of him?
No, I wasn't. But Shriyantha Mendes, on the other hand, I like much better because he's a much more versatile actor. He's
No, still.
Shriyantha Mendes is a chameleon, man. He can like disappear into any kind of role, right? Do you remember Palingu Manike?
I was going to say Palingu Manike. Soora Sena is like
Soora Sena.
Brilliant.
So he was this guy who like 20-something dude who comes back from I think the Middle East or whatever.
I think just Colombo even. He just comes back to the village or commercialized and everything.
Yeah, like dressed in his jeans and his multicolored t-shirts and jackets and shit. So he was like the cool dude. And he was trying to like woo the village women or whatever. No, that was his thing.
Yeah, so he comes back to his home village and basically exploits the shit out of it, starts this business of illegal logging, and then finally he gets the cops try to nab him, and all this while he's like trying to get friendly with the village headman, wasn't he? Yeah, the village head. Rohana the village headman's wife. But it was just because he wanted all the masks in that house. And he just steals all the masks and just runs off at the end.
I think you have very good memory, or you've been seen this many times, because I don't remember any of that shit. I just remember Palingu Manike as in Manika Attanayaka, Rohana Bathake and Shriyantha Mendes. I just like...
How do you not remember the masks?
I remember the masks, yeah, but I don't remember the...
That's what happens in the end, at the very last end. So it had a very young Jackson Anthony as well.
Yes.
So the Jackson Anthony was like the innocent village kid that Shriyantha Mendes' character turns to evil, and he gets snapped by the cops as well, and like all the women in the village, his girlfriend, all the elders, they're like, don't associate with this guy. And it's this whole like capitalism versus the old ways story. It's really well written and acted. Like episodes are definitely on YouTube somewhere. It's definitely a must see because it's a really well done character study, well written. It's a really good story.
Who was the director? Do you remember? It's not Somavira Senanayake, right? He didn't write.
No, it's not. Somavira Senanayake is anyway like the family drama type thing. No? So Doo Daruwo, Nadayo, that sort of thing.
Okay. Tell me, you guys remember Doo Daruwo? Okay. Good.
I mean, that is 90s in a nutshell.
It ran for a while, right? For about 6 years.
It ran for a while, yeah. It ran for much shorter than we think it did.
Yeah.
I remember it being like a mainstay throughout my childhood, and yet I remember looking it up recently, and it only ran for 6 years or something. It was only 3 or something like that. It was a lot shorter than I thought. I think we just saw so much of it. It just kept getting ingrained into our brains.
And anyway, when you're young, time tends to move a bit slowly, right? You feel that it's but I do remember it being like running for something like 6 years. But that's
long.
Probably
it was really long. It was anyway really long though. Like it lasted a long time.
And also like these local dramas, they don't do season breaks, right? They
follow the soap opera format. It just came.
And Doo Daruwo spanned a couple of generations.
So,
right? The story?
3 generations in the end.
Yeah.
It was Ayurangani Sevya Singh and Henry Jayasena's characters' generation, Sudusiya and Dalsiachi.
Did Henry Jayasena die during production? Or
No. They ended it. He died years after it ended.
Okay.
And then there was this other, their children's generation, which is Jayalat Manoratna, Chandini Seniratna, shit, I don't remember, Vasanthi Chaturani, not Vasanthi
No,
Chaturani.
Nilmini Tennakon.
No,
That was a
their
breakout
kids.
role, right? Or was it a first role, I think? Yep.
I don't think it's a first role, but it was a breakout role.
Yeah.
And like she was married to Callum Srimal's character.
Callum Srimal was in it?
Yeah. Not
Someone who looks a bit like Callum Srimal. I
No,
remember what you mean.
I don't remember his name now, but I remember him because he's a presenter. He was a presenter at Rupavahini.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
He used to be the guy that does the National Lotteries board thing.
Oh, that's Callum Vijay Surya. Dude, he still holds Shanida Vasanam and stuff. And he hasn't aged a day. He still looks like that. He still looks like what he looked like 20 years ago. I don't know. It's just something in the water, I guess. I don't know. That guy has not aged a day, I'm telling you. He's like our Keanu Reeves, basically.
That's an interesting comparison.
The guy is immortal.
But yeah, so it ran 3 generations, years. That's probably the quintessential 90s
Yeah, family drama, right?
family drama.
And there was a series of, I wouldn't say copycat. I mean, it was produced by Nalan Mendes, all of them, right?
Yep.
There was that and Nadayo.
Yeah, Nadayo
what
and
else?
something else that came after that.
Yeah. Satpura Vesio. No, not Satpura.
Not Sadhuvasio. It was Yashoda Vimaladam and somebody.
So Yashoda was in a lot of those, right?
Yashoda was in a lot of those. Was Yashoda in Doo Daruwo?
Yeah, she was.
She was?
Priyang Mada. She played Priyang Mada.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I vaguely remember
Yeah,
this.
I think that was her first role.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I don't remember her
But she
that
hasn't
much.
been in a lot of teledramas since. I mean, she became like a movie star later, right? She kind of graduated into being a movie star after,
Kind of quickly.
like in the late 90s.
Yeah, I suppose. Chandra series work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about Janta Chandrasuri later. I have a lot to say about Janta Chandrasuri.
Do you guys remember Ingamma role?
Yes. That was brilliant.
I used to watch that quite religiously. And, like,
only like 5?
no, it must have been a rerun because it was always being rerun on TV. So must have been early 2000s, I guess. And
Late 90s.
They
No, I mean
they reran it a lot.
they reran it a lot. Yeah, so yeah, that was one that I remember. And also Manokaya, but then Manokaya I didn't understand anything. I just remember it being very intimidating. So
I don't think anyone understood that.
I don't think they themselves understood it. It was some weird psychobabble about astral projections.
Projection.
Yeah.
That was exactly
There was a
the
lot of sort of sci-fi stuff, right?
Yeah.
What was the one where they meditate and travel through time?
That's Akala Sandhya.
Sandhya.
That's Janta Chandrasuri's third, right?
Carlos.
Yeah, the first was Vedahamine. That was good. I think Dandubastamani is probably one of everybody's list of favorite teledramas, right? Did you guys like it?
I've seen reruns.
I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, you little kids, yeah. I actually remember watching it as it aired. Did you?
So I mean I've heard you and a lot of other people talk very highly of it. So what's the story? Just run us through it.
So if I probably got this wrong, but now it's sort of coming back. Two Angampura masters.
Yeah.
One gets into trouble because he teaches someone who's not supposed to be taught, because Angampura has a tradition where you only teach people with these specific characteristics or these specific bloodlines, and this guy taught someone that shouldn't have been taught or something like that.
That was Kamaladhara Rachi's character.
That was Kamaladhara's character. And the masters of Buddhadasi Danachi and Shenri Andamendis, live in this long beard, very old master thing. So the
He was an Arachi.
Yes, the masters get into a fight, and the guy who did the thing taught Kamaladharachi dies. Kamaladharachi runs away and comes back later to get revenge or something like that. And it's partial. There's some actual history woven somewhere
There's a lot of
in this.
mysticism and some fantastical.
Was it this that Sabita was in?
No, it was again Yashoda, right?
No. Yashoda's there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but there's a character which I think is a historical character where a woman is trained in Angampura as a man.
Ah, yes, you're right. Yeah.
and she comes and fights and
Yeah.
wins against these very.
Oh wait, are you mixing this up with Akala Santhu?
I
Because that
might
had-
be.
that
That's
had
what
a
I'm
similar
asking.
thing, right?
That's why I'm
Yeah, yeah.
asking because I don't remember.
That
which
was
one is-
Sabita, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
Sabita,
the
yeah.
second one. Yeah.
I don't remember, so that's why I'm asking. But that scene is very. I
Right.
remember that scene very well for some
So
reason.
Dhanubhasanamanya had like this thing with pressure points, right? Nila Allana.
Yeah.
Where you press somebody's somewhere like some undisclosed location and then you basically drop dead. So that, and they explored some of that, and that was interesting. And Kemasiri Premadas's sorry, how what's his name? Premasiri Kemadas's Premasiri Kemadas's soundtrack, of course, iconic, and the cast was, of course, really good.
So I'm just realizing like what we are talking about is probably not what most people would remember about 90s.
Yeah,
So like.
Backstreet Boys.
No. I mean like teledramas, like things we haven't mentioned are like Ratu Rosa.
Oh, Rathurosa, man, that was a
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
That was again Kamal Adrarachi and that this girl who kind of disappeared, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember Ratu
What's her name?
Rosa.
Jude something. Jude.
That was the only teledrama
She was in, yeah, the one and only, I think, and then she kind of went off the radar. I don't know
I
what
don't
happened. to her.
remember this at all. I just remember the theme song.
Theme song was
The
brilliant.
theme
It's-
song
yeah.
is gorgeous. I
They
don't.
still play it, I think, when they do Dot
Yeah, I
Dance or
think so.
something.
No, it's such an iconic tune. Yeah. I remember Susima. Susima was where Clarence Vijayawardena. That song.
Clarence- yeah,
There's a
Clarence's
Viyakatkal
song.
is from the Susima soundtrack.
Yeah. I remember the clip of the song. I don't remember. I don't know if I
That's
remember the
Jackson Anthony
thing.
singing it, right?
Jackson Anthony and Kamal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
Kamal. No.
Jackson Anthony is not
Clarence.
singing it. Jackson Anthony is quote unquote singing it. The voice is Clarence's.
No.
Yeah,
Jackson
yeah.
Anthony sings,
Jackson
dude.
Anthony is-
No.
He has. No.
The
it's-
other guy's
yeah.
voice is.
The
I
other
think,
vocals are Jackson's.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Clarence and Jackson.
Shit, I don't remember. When are they?
Yeah.
But it's part of the and in the lead role, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I'm
Jackson
actually,
was
I actually don't remember much of it. I was really young, like
that's like early.
late 80s, right?
You
Late
went past Ambayalu.
Always Ambayalu.
The Ambayalu guy is also like what's his name? The guy, whoever played Jinnah had a career. He went on to have a career. He was in Madoldu and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And, he's an adult actor, right? Like
He's an actor. The
he's an actor
the
now.
other guy just
the other guy kind of disappeared.
disappeared. He quit acting.
Yeah. And Napuru Maitri, who was she?
Did she become an actress? I don't.
She was good.
She was good.
Yeah. Do you guys know what we're talking about? No.
No.
I've read the book and I've seen the show as well. I remember that the guy's name is Sonemal or something.
Nimal and.
Not Jinnah. Jinnah is from
Jinnah is from Madoldu.
But it was the same guy.
Nimal and someone else, right? Yeah. That's all I
The
remember.
same actor though.
Yeah.
Sudhappa and
Nimal. Nimal was the poor kid.
Yeah. So the kid who played Nimal went on to play Jinnah in Madoldu,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
With Jayaraj Manoratna's son as
Upali.
Upali. Yes.
But yes, so I think only he went on from the child actors in that. Like Maitri, the sister, I don't remember her in anything else.
Yeah, me neither.
Ooh, remember Meka Dipahana?
Oh yeah, it had it came in two parts. There was Itipahanak 1 and Itipahanak 2, right? Itipahan 1, Itipahan 2.
And
Anarkali, baby Anarkali was in Itipahan. Yeah.
Like the kid in, I
Yeah.
don't even remember that, man. For
No.
some reason when somebody mentions Itipahang, I think of Kadul.
Kadul, what was that? Name rings a bell.
Like it was, I don't remember Kadul even. That I'm very sad about this because people say this is such a good, extremely good teledrama.
Okay, so this episode is turning out to be a long confession of how we don't remember the 90s. So We like try to figure out some things we do remember, and then focus on those.
So our Shab here is an aspiring musician, and you listen to a lot of oldies, right? Walk us through the 90s pop music scene.
I think one of the main defining elements of 90s pop music is I think relative to the 70s and 80s there was independent like FM radio stations being set up, right? Sirius FM being I think one of the first. I think TNL came before that. But like Sirius had a massive cultural impact on how pop music was popularized in Sri Lanka, right? Before that, basically to get on radio you needed to be on the good books of the SLBC or like...
And Sirisa paid royalties, I think, right? To individual artists.
Right. So some of the artists that came out with that, I guess Rookantha got like a massive hit of popularity from like singing Sirasa jingles. and in television, I think one of the bigger things was before private television stations started out, I guess on Rupavahini there was Manohari, right?
Manohari, yeah.
So a lot.
Yatra a few years later.
Yeah.
There are a lot of nice music shows, Manohari, Yatra. Like IDN had this thing called Fan Club for English that Kumar De Silva hosted. What else? Remember there was this really old singular film music show called Vichitragi. Yeah, that was like weird. Not weird, like... Don't you remember this? It went for like ages. They would just take songs out of the movies and they would just play half an hour of that.
Do you remember Jagat Vikram Singha's covers of Richard Marx and Bryan Adams?
Yes.
with like videos.
Yeah.
There's that Robin Hood thing. Was the Robin Hood song by Bryan Adams from Prince of Thieves?
Oh, Everything I Do.
Yeah. So he had a cover. He made a cover, and there was a video also of him. I think it was him playing Robin Hood, right? There's a scene where he's kind of swinging through.
What?
Like, yeah. No, I'm sure. I mean, we should look it up on YouTube. I'm sure.
What? No, I don't know this.
Me neither.
I mean, he definitely covered the song. Yeah, with a couple of Richard Marx songs.
He covered a lot of like English songs. I do not remember this video though.
But like if you look back at that era, there were like certain genres of music in Sinhala pop that you don't even hear anymore, right? Like slow, like say Taruda Nidana.
Oh yeah.
Like,
That was a beautiful song.
that was very driven by that music video of like Nanda Malini singing with like the piano accompaniment.
I thought was Shakti the backing band for that song?
I don't think it was Shakti. There were
Some of the people in that video look very familiar.
Yeah. I think it was Shakti. I think it was
Shakti
Shakti.
backed a lot of videos. I remember that. Shakti had a lot of backing presence then. But like like when you say that you don't see people like Atmalin again, that was a very 90s pocket phenomena.
Atmalina is making bus music these days.
Yeah.
I don't know what
everyone's
happened, like,
so that's from 90s started.
Like he went
bus
from like
music.
really cool synth pop to whatever the
Yes.
fuck he's doing now. It's
So that 90s started bus music, but so Charita Bevikram and all of them, Atmali, how them, Nama Ludugava and all of those guys like really hit the wall here, like skyrocketed in the 90s, and that just kept on transitioning to like all this wailing we hear now.
you remember the outfits?
I remember
Yeah.
Rookantha's like
Rookantha's Atmalina. I guess Namaludugama to an extent.
oh yeah, the
They're very
glittery
loud.
jackets.
Yeah.
The glitter jackets
Glitter
shining and
jackets, yeah.
everything.
There was one I think where like Rookantha had like pieces of glass sticking, like they made the costume with like glass pieces sticking so that the lights would reflect onto the camera.
I don't but like we really should make a note of Rookantha's first album cover.
Yeah.
Like recently also people are
Somebody
making
was sharing that on Twitter.
yeah,
What was it? Which album was that?
Sachini Pereira.
Yeah.
Shit.
Bambara
Bambara
Bahasa,
Bahasa.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Oh, that was epic,
such a ridiculously
Like, so
avant-garde,
out there,
so
right?
out there album cover, and like even now people don't do that.
Yeah. Like I haven't seen. I don't know what do album covers look like these days. Local.
Yeah, very generic, right?
Very generic, right? Yeah.
Some photography and like some text.
Yeah, I don't even remember like a very distinct cover. Like even the later ones, like when Bathiya and Santhush and
Bathiya Santhush, Ranidu, all of those, like the covers would look
Very
like,
generic
yeah.
very
covers, right?
generic.
Yeah.
Like I definitely
I remember Vasante, the album cover, just the two of them, and one of the comes the backup singers. Like, do you remember Yamuna? Someone called Yamuna. She sang in Vasante.
Mm.
She also disappeared.
Mm.
I think.
No one's seen her since.
Yeah.
Like the only, I remember someone making this point. Like the only time you see her is in the very first performance of
Yeah.
Vasante, the video of
At
that.
the youth center
At the
video,
youth center
right? Yeah.
video. Like no one else has seen her since ever.
Dude, that was 21 years ago. Oh my god.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
98 was it?
98, yeah.
Like they were.
And they used to get a lot of hate. I remember.
But yeah.
I remember Victor Ratnayaka in an interview, I think in Lankadeep or whatever, he had dissed Bathiya and Santhush and Kasun Kalhara, which is weird because Victor Ratnayaka's son ended up working with Kasun Kalhara later.
See, I get why he would this Bhathi. I don't get why he would this Kasun
Yeah,
Kalhara.
right.
I don't get that at all. Like it's not even the same style.
I guess people take time to warm up to like newer.
Yeah. And maybe there's a bit of professional jealousy or
Yeah.
something involved also, right? Kasun was one of his, like, contemporary son, Malini Bulak.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
properly classically trained
Exactly.
and stuff.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't some upstart like Bhatia and Santhush.
Right.
Like not to say they are upstarts, but they were
Yeah,
upstarts
they were,
considering.
they were, yeah.
They're completely different and everything. And,
Speaking of upstarts,
Raj, I knew you were going there. It was like back when Raj actually made sensible music.
I mean, yeah, technically not 90s. Although he was, I think he made a couple of. No, that was very early 2000s. Early 2000s.
Raj is all the 2000s.
Yeah. No. Before his debut album, he TNL used to have like there was this. You can still look it up on YouTube. I think it's there. Where there's a video of Iraj playing the keyboards with an Enigma track, and yeah, he's kind of mixing it all up and
I've seen
like he's
this.
bobbing his head.
I think he was trained by Dulip Gabada.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Oh, what happened to Dulip Gabada?
Yeah, what happened to Dulip? I think he's still making music.
He's in the country.
Honestly, no idea.
I remember RTV used to carry like a ad for his album.
Whose album?
Dulip Gabada.
He had an album out.
Yeah. It was like instrumental tracks.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, they're all instrumental tracks. And the only thing I remember from RTV is Cartoon Network.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Like we would come home from school, just
Yeah, and watch RTV. Like,
I remember the mask. The mask cartoon.
Mask
that was really good.
There was SWAT Cats, Jetsons, Simpsons,
Jetsons,
all of
yeah.
that.
This
the
is mid 90s, late 90s, right?
90s carrying on to 2000s.
Yeah.
Dynavision.
Dynavision. It was
Dynavision.
called Dynavision back then.
Remember those old like Looney Tunes-ish cartoons with it's just a song and then the
It's
ball
like karaoke.
like karaoke.
The moon would like bump over the words and that like.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, yeah. Wow, this is taking me back.
Subtly racist also, like that'd be like
Yeah.
Negroes
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes.
in blackface.
The simpler days when we were all naive and ignorant.
Yeah, we had no idea, right?
Suddenly, this white guy would end up in a pot and like he'd be being boiled alive.
Yeah. How come we never got Sri Lanka never got into the whole cartoon thing? Like we never made any.
It takes a lot of work, man. Like
Even now, I mean, you'd think now it would be a little easier, right?
Gotcha Man is coming out.
Yeah.
Right? That's like
That's about
the only.
thing. Yeah.
I remember Mahadana Mutta like in the 2000s somewhere,
Ah,
but I don't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
it being like a big splash or anything.
Yeah.
There was apparently a very famous cartoon like with Elara and Dutugamunu
Really?
in the 80s, and apparently
80s?
yeah.
We
Like animated.
And they made one of the characters look like J.R. Jayawardena and it
Oh my
got
God.
banned.
Wow.
There's not much research, then there's not much to read about this, but I tried to look into this when I was writing an article about films that got banned. So and which I now don't remember any of the things I researched, damn it. But basically the story was this guy hand drew an entire animated film of Elara and Dutugamunu,
Okay.
and it was really good. Like, this was years before Titus Nodavatta did anything with dubbing, but
Right.
this guy actually did the entire work.
Shit.
But the authorities banned it because they thought all of this like looked too similar to certain political figures of the era, and it would be like inflammatory, defamation and all of that. So they pulled it. And as far as I know, there's no copies of it even. It's completely
Is
gone.
the guy still around?
The guy's still around. I'll look up the name and tell you, or just
Let's please like track him down and have a chat.
He was a lettering artist at Rupavahini.
Yeah.
He'd do
Oh,
the
wow.
like title animations.
Nice.
Yeah. And he's a really controversial figure to some extent, but it's a major achievement that's just completely gone under the radar.
Dude, that's
That's really sad. It's
know.
extremely sad. If that made it to the mainstream, it would have at least kickstarted something on like cartooning.
But do you know who funded it or anything?
I think he just did it on his
He
own.
did it on his own?
Yeah.
There's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. But like, there's only like a picture or something in some book somewhere, and that got scanned into an internet article, and that gets reshared. Other
You're
than
sure
that-
it's not one of those like urban legends or whatever?
No. It actually happened. There's like proper records out there in newspaper interviews and all of that.
How come no one ever tried to like do something like, okay, so this is obviously a failed attempt, but
I don't think people necessarily had the know-how, I
I
guess.
guess we didn't have the tech for
We
animation.
definitely didn't
like-
have the tech.
Yeah.
And-
But we did have a bustling like comic book
Yes.
industry,
Yeah.
but that doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, it does to an extent, but they just, I guess, they have trouble selling comics or something.
No, Chitrakatha business died out in the 80s. So I interviewed this guy for a story. So that's a whole. I can put you in touch with this guy. He's this really old editor of Sri Lanka's longest running Chitrakatha magazine.
What's the magazine?
Fuck. This is like terrible. But he was telling me how all these like artists just like there was the peak of this was not 90s. By 90s it just completely died down. 70s, 80s, like there were about 10, 12 Chitrakatha magazines running, and there were like strips being print, like daily strips going out, print like the comics industry back there. So by the 90s it had like completely gone off because partly costs, partly because they weren't paying the artists enough, so they just let it go. Like popularity was waning, and one major thing they said was when television came, people just went to the TV and just forgot about comic books altogether, the Chitrakatha altogether, because they didn't need that entertainment because they had this entertainment.
Were they original stories?
Oh, yeah. So some of them were originals, some of them were weird reinterpretations of existing Greek myths and stuff.
Yeah.
So Hercules would have like arcs in Sri Lanka with
I've seen a
like
Batman
all
cover.
of that. Yeah, so all of that, and there's a
There
lot.
were a lot of like Tarzan or
Tarzan,
Sheena.
Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. So Tarzan and Conan were like some of the really popular ones, and all sorts of detective stories. Sri Lanka is like really just took something and just ran with it.
Yeah.
The-
Like slightly softcore.
I wouldn't say softcore.
Yeah.
Like it's not porn, but
It's
I
not
wouldn't
porn,
say
but it's,
softcore.
yeah, okay.
So they're like very chiseled men and
Men
women.
and very voluptuous looking women.
Yes, yeah. So this definitely aspired in the same direction
Yeah,
as comic books in the Western genre. But this is like way before the 90s, like 80s and stuff. By the
You
80s it was dying out.
You guys remember Vijay Patre had like
Yes. Yeah.
what was it? Purohita, that story, and Malmama.
Malmama.
I remember Malmama. I don't remember Purohita. I don't remember Purohita.
There was like a story about a king and his Purohita. I don't remember the name.
Malmama I remember very well.
So there was a bunch of kids magazines like that, right? Vijay, Kakulu, Punchipattare. I think they were Camillus publications.
All those are Camillus.
Yeah.
Vijay was
Vijay was Vijay newspaper.
Vijay was Vijay. Vidusara was Upali.
These are was Upali.
I love Vidu. Sorry for the.
Punchipatra was
sorry for-
Camillus, I think.
Camillus side.
Camillus had his own like comic.
Gajaman, yeah.
Gajaman.
Yeah.
Camillus had his own.
That was a bit
like,
later, right? That was like in the late 90s. Gajaman.
Yeah, I guess.
That was under Chandrika. Yeah.
Speaking of Chandrika,
Yeah.
political
You
dissent.
can't talk about the 90s without mentioning Chandrika. Yeah.
Political dissent in the 90s took like very creative turns. Like
Always breakdown.
yes,
Yes. God, yes.
they even had a cassette with all the songs.
Oh yeah.
you know what actually kind of like low-key pisses me off? People remember the kids show that was made copying Always Breakdown. They don't remember Always Breakdown.
What's the kid show on?
Okay, what's
did.
always breakdown?
Okay. Yeah, for the benefit of the younger audience here, what is always breakdown?
So Always Breakdown was basically Sri Lankan politics except adapted like Animal Farm.
Yeah.
So there was a cow, there was a tiger, there
There were people also.
Yeah.
there were people also,
Yeah.
but mainly the stars
It's like a
were.
weirdly Bojack kind of vibe.
Weirdly- You need to let go of this Bojack obsession.
Yeah, I need to.
Okay, basically it was a puppet show.
It's a puppet show with humans and animals.
So it's like Sesame Street except it's Animal Farm in Sri Lanka. That's the basic bottom line. And
The characters included Chandrika, Ranil, but under like different names. Like
Yeah.
Bertie.
Ranil was
No,
like
it was called Bertie.
yes.
And
Chandrika
had
was Madam
Satellite.
Satellite. No, not Satellite. Something. I
I
forget.
remember Elusen.
Elusen was the reporter. right?
Elusen was the reporter.
And Velupille Prabhakaran was on it.
Yeah.
No, that was the tiger. Kotiya Kidya. There was a Kotiya. There was a tiger.
This was on TV.
This was on TV.
Prabhakaran was like a
Yeah,
man.
there was a
Yeah,
Prabhakaran.
Prabhakaran was a man.
And this was on TV. It ran for a long. It was on TNL.
Yeah.
Ran for a long time. Was very popular. The theme song was amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
It was banned at some point, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
was it? No, I don't think it ever got banned.
I remember Ravindra Asas was he voiced Chandrika, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, he was great.
That show was amazing.
Was the ITN copycat Sudhuha?
Sudhuhava. Dude, Sudhuhava was fucking creepy.
So it has some of the exact same puppets.
Maybe, yeah.
Like
Even that lion and no, actually the fox.
Yeah.
That was like the fucking stuff of nightmares.
So Sudhuhava is the same format, almost the same puppets, possibly the very same puppets, because I'm very sure the cow / bull character was the same puppet as in Always
Yes.
Breakdown, and so picture Sudhuhava but with very explicit political commentary,
Yeah.
like very to the point.
Yeah.
Like I was a kid and I got it, and I could understand this was whether Satellite was Chandrika and all of that.
But did they ever actually make fun of Ranil?
I don't remember that much.
Because you know who owns TNL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Ranil's character was like had his like his way of speaking and like
Yeah.
That was a good show. That was a good time.
and it was very timely, right?
was very
Yeah,
would,
it was,
like,
it was.
do the-
I honestly can't believe they got away with it.
Imagine, yeah.
Yeah, like today no one would dare do that.
Okay, maybe not
Maybe-
today. Maybe about, you know.
Yeah, during the bad times
Yeah.
that we won't talk about because they're coming back.
Like I'm not even sure they do it now. It was like so in your face.
Yeah. But now we have all these guys who kind of like do impressions and stuff, right? The guy on Facebook who does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect for this kind of show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
But even they kind of play it safe, right? They don't say anything too controversial. Whereas Always Breakdown actually was really controversial. Like, I mean, there was some really damaging shit. I don't think Chandrika would have been.
TNL's existence in itself was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sort of like Lasantha Wickramatunga would be on like his show and
Yeah.
like have people and like say really
Oh, right, yeah, sure.
weird things.
And they would even interview like Mangala Samarira and some occasionally, I remember. Like when they wanted to attack.
Remember Young Asia Television? That was on DNL too.
Yeah. Actually, not Mangala. SB used to come and attack Mangala, I think, on.
Janahanda was always a treat to watch.
Oh, Jananda was
That
amazing.
was
Yeah.
amazing. Daniel did a lot of like very out of left field
Yeah.
things back then.
It's always a very strange channel though, even now, right? Like nobody actually really watches it.
Even that video of Bathiya and
Podimalli.
Yeah, Podimalli.
Yeah.
Mm.
Singing
There
that.
was-
What's the song? That Arabic song? Yes, yes.
Habibi.
Yeah.
Habibi.
Oh yeah.
Dude, we have to talk about Allah.
Oh,
you,
dude,
you,
yeah.
you can't.
I mean,
you
it's not 90s, but yeah.
you can't do a nostalgia show without talking about Allah.
That is probably the greatest comedy show we ever had, right?
It's definitely. I don't remember laughing that much even for like reruns of Honestly and
Yeah.
those shows.
I mean, Bodhi and all, they were great.
they were great, but,
But
it
this
was
was
a
another
sketch
level, yeah.
comedy. It was a sketch comedy.
Yeah,
This is proper sketch comedy.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And like the jokes were so understated, right?
Right?
They were,
Yeah.
Like, some of them I didn't get back then, and I'm watching YouTube
Right,
clips
yeah,
now.
I
and
know what you
like,
mean, yeah.
Oh right.
I think a lot of it was also down to the chemistry between those two.
Yeah.
It was like very lad humor. Sort
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
It's very lad humor.
Yeah.
Remember Danta Bhuja toothpaste?
Oh, God, yes.
Sudu Kaputa insurance.
Oh god, that is horrendous. But the songs,
Yeah, the songs are great.
the songs were great. I still one of my fondest memories is Madhu Gangenana.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was brilliant, yeah.
That's fantastic.
And the Velas Behala in a Sindhu, like
Vela
I'm not
Vela
sure
Vela.
if it's a real song.
So that's the thing. So last week.
Velalangadaga Karana.
So last week when I was going through all those old YouTube videos, I found the real song.
Yeah, it's
And
from a real song. Yeah, I remember the real song.
And I was cringing so much at that. the parody was so much
Parody was
better.
better, yeah, I remember. And they did literal music videos, do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
With
Sudumalli.
With Sudumalli.
Yeah.
What's the thing where he just like keeps pushing this? Oh no, that was an interview. That wasn't the music video. Remember this thing where the skit where he tries to interview, it's Aurudu, he tries to interview this girl on a swing, but he has to push the girl as well. So he runs back, pushes the girl and runs to the front and tries to hold the mic.
There was an interview about feminism.
Oh god.
Yes.
That was woke as fuck, man. Like those guys were woke way before any of these kids.
Way before anybody. That was a properly
Yeah.
like.
Oh yeah, you guys should definitely listen to that. We'll link it here. It's
It's all guys being interviewed about
it's something to behold, man. Yeah, lots of men
female
talking about women's rights. Yeah.
emancipation,
Like no one today does something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
woke. It was amazing.
It was like prophetic almost, right? Like a bunch of
Why?
dudes sitting around talking about
Yeah,
women's rights. And,
like looking back, who
Yeah.
would have thought Podimalli and
Yeah.
Judy Malli were woke?
right.
Of
I know, for all
everybody.
people,
It
yeah.
was very ahead of its time.
Yeah,
I don't think
totally
anyone
ahead of
got
its
it
time.
back then.
No
Like,
one
we are only getting it now. Like.
Ayo. I was so mad that it used to be on like Sunday mornings because I'd watch the reruns because I was going to Sunday school.
There was a second season, right? Like,
Yeah.
like about 4 years later they
They
started.
tried again.
Yeah,
It
that
didn't
didn't.
work as
Yeah, it didn't
well.
work. Yeah.
Didn't work as well. But that first run was fantastic.
They still work together, right? They do corporate work.
I think they have their own
Reruns
ad
and
agency or
Yeah,
something.
ad agency and things like that. Speaking of Podimalli and Chudimalli, like we need to talk about dubbing. Sri Lanka's experiments with dubbing, like starting with Titus Totavat. What do you remember about him and his special brand of?
For me, Titus Totavat's best shit is Rasara. Not the shows. You don't remember Rasara? So Rasara was like clips of dubbed Looney Tunes. Not a complete show. It was like individual skits like from Looney Tunes dubbed and like put together into a package and presented.
Was Ha Ha Haria a part of this?
I had a separate.
Then it's its own
cartoon,
series, right?
But
Yeah.
but they used that as well. Like Elusen presented this. Elusen presented Rasara, so they like made a fake set. Elusen comes out and like says like we are presenting
Oh, so
this.
wait, sir, that's a different Elusen.
No, not
the Always Breakdown guy.
Not
That's-
the
yeah.
Always Breakdown.
Was
guy.
he called Gonzan or something? No.
So no,
Because that was a cow. That was
no, Gonson was there. Gonson was there. Then Gonson must have been on owners.
yeah, the Rupahini guy was Elusen.
Elusen.
He was an actual goat.
He was an actual goat.
A goat in a suit and tie and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't believe this is where we went with this.
That was Gamonu Vijayasuri, right?
It was Gamonu Vijayasuri,
His
yeah.
voice work, man. That guy was.
That was great. But yeah, Rasa, then they had everything like
Then they had like
Ahariya, Gulliver's Travels and all that.
Ahariya was, to anyone who doesn't know, was Bugs Bunny. Dustarondaita was Dr. Dolittle.
Dr. Dolittle, Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, what else?
Dr. Dolittle was genius.
Gulliver's Travels was this guy, Samanata
Samanata.
Yeah.
Like you don't think it's these people when you listen to it.
Pissaposa.
Who was Pissaposa? Who played it?
Gamonu Vijayasuri.
Gamonu Vijayasuri. Yes, that was Gamonu Vijayasuri. Pissaposa was Top Cat.
It was very well dubbed, like local references and everything.
Like genuinely funny, right?
Do you remember all Top Cats? Pissaposa's second lieutenant's names?
Yeah.
Nyawa, Malu Kattata, Puru Puru. I don't remember the rest of it.
And then
now.
from Dustarondaita, Chow Chow.
Chow Chow.
Yeah.
Remember the computer? R2D2 computer speaking. Monkey and other. That was brilliant.
They actually call it R2D2?
Yes.
Oh shit.
The computer. So the Erakus, the pirate that's trying to capture Dr. Dolittle, Dostoevsky is in a submarine.
Right.
Like submarine, it's camouflaged as an island, and it has a computer, and it's called R2D2. They ask the computer things, and the computer says some bullshit and like shuts them off, says it can't do it, and just turns off. So it's ultimately useless. But the line is that R2D2 computer is speaking.
Was it actually called R2D2 in the original English run?
I doubt it. I don't think so.
So that's interesting, right?
That's here. I love that line.
Gulliver, I remember, was Samanata Dhetti. He went on to play this guy in Oshin, Mr. Takashi, Oshin's husband. Oshin also ran for ages, right?
Yeah. Oshin, even the Japanese don't know Oshin. That's weird.
I think it's more popular in this part of the world.
It's more popular in this part of the world than Brazil, apparently.
And Iran, apparently.
In Iran.
All right.
So it's popular here.
In a lot of places that didn't really get a lot of foreign programming. Just like dog. I guess it was because like in a lot of countries with conservative cultures, it was like this.
Right.
It was like not a very controversial show.
Yeah, it was very safe.
Yeah. And I guess it appealed to those family values.
Yeah, it's a very inoffensive kind of show.
Yeah, like work hard, you'll get somewhere, despite all the shit that happens.
But it was very well done, right, for its time.
Oshin was really well done. Like I'm guessing like a lot of Japanese shows are well done. It's just we don't get them.
I mean, it's NHK, right?
Yeah, NHK. Yeah. So.
Oh, remember all the science shows that the NHK used to.
Gonta.
You remember that, Tamar? No, seriously. Oh my god. It's like the show that used to be there before Art Attack.
Okay. Do you remember Art Attack?
Yes, I do remember that.
So I don't remember its actual name. I used to.
And someone.
No. That's their names.
Okay.
That's not what the show is called. The show is this like long Japanese name.
Yeah.
But it's this guy like not a clown suit, but like playing a character.
Like a grown-up preschooler.
Yeah, like a grown-up preschooler. And it's called Nopo. And this anthropomorphic bear kind of guy wearing a bear suit called Gonta, and they like used to make arts and crafts stuff and like play around with it. Like it was funny, it was engaging, it was really cool. You can't understand anything, and they don't talk anyway. Like it's all music and just directions. There's no anything, but it was like superb. They like replayed this so many times. I don't remember. Like I know they showed other Japanese shows, but that's the only one I can remember.
I think Ant-Man Man came in a bit later.
That's Gingerbread Man.
ඥාන කතා මල්ලි.
Ant-Man, man.
yeah, yeah.
The guy would fly with the power of his gigantic head.
Oh, I don't remember this.
So Ant-Man Man is this staple Japanese anime that's been running for ages
Yeah.
about this guy. It's basically like a gingerbread man story. There's a Japanese desert called Ant-Pan, and this baker like bakes an Ant-Pan and it comes to life and he becomes a superhero because he can fly and has super strength and shit.
Right.
And like if people are like hurting or like need help, he just breaks off a piece of his head and like feeds them and they
Right.
like get better. But then you have to rebake him,
Right.
and so he gets his power back and all of that. So Rupavahini dubbed it as Jnana Katha Malli.
Well, I don't remember this at all.
This was like 2000s though.
Ah, okay.
Big red suit,
Yeah,
big red nose.
like really cool,
Proud.
really nice theme song.
Yeah.
Like it's like proper classical Sinhala music with like the it's like
Jnana Katha
folk
Malli.
song.
So just like Ingurupam Malli.
Yeah. Same setup. Homa Venna, I don't remember.
Do you guys remember this really? There was this really strange show about like a bunch of toys, an elephant,
Yeah, yeah.
a bottle of water, a
And,
car,
Mukabe
and
Villain.
a slinky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
What was it called? Like,
Oh,
It was German or something.
what was it?
I know what
It was-
you're
it was
talking
live action.
about. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember. This was this the one with or without the pink elephant?
Yeah, there was a pink elephant. Yes.
Shit, I don't remember this. I
forget
know
what
what
it
you're
was
talking
called.
I think that and Broom came along
Broom
sort
came
of together.
Sort of together.
Was that set in the same universe? So Broom was his own show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some weird ass shows back in the day. Like this was one of them.
Remember all the Umesh Moramudali and I were talking about this on Instagram while all the Australian kids shows that IT and Ruban used to show that were really good.
Like Spellbinder.
Even before that, there was this one called Girl from Tomorrow that was really nice.
Oh, yeah.
That was an ITN.
Ocean Girl?
Ocean Girl, Thunderstone, Ocean
Around the twist.
around
That
twist.
was a bit later.
Ocean Girl, Thunderstone, Around Twist, Silver Surf, not Silver Surfer,
Not Silver Surfer, no.
not Silver Surfer. There was some Silver something show, Sky Trackers, Return to Jupiter. They were all like these really cool.
Andromeda was it?
No, Andromeda was a like proper American sci-fi show.
How much TV did you watch, Delhi?
What was the one with Space Cases?
Space Cases.
Was it Aussie?
That was not the Space Cases wasn't Aussie, but
Was
like
Canadian?
it was Canadian or US.
Oh, I don't remember any of this.
The one with Thelma and like the girl. with
I do
the
remember the guy with the beard.
Yes,
ear.
the beard,
Oh,
yeah.
right, right.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Space
Okay.
Cases. So that's shit. What's her name? The rainbow-haired girl.
Yeah, she became famous.
She became famous. She was in Firefly. She was
She was Firefly.
yeah, the mechanic.
Kaylee.
Yeah.
Jewel.
Yeah, Jewel
State.
State.
Yeah.
So Jewel State was in that. That was her first show.
Oh, was that her? Actually,
is her.
I never made that connection.
No wonder everyone had a crush on her, right?
That was Jewel State.
There was also a very short-lived sci-fi show called Tomorrow People. Do you remember?
Yes, I vaguely remember this. I don't remember the
Just a few episodes, I think.
Yeah.
About a group of kids who teleport. I think it was an Australian show.
Probably
Like,
Australian.
okay.
I don't remember.
Or maybe Canadian. A couple of young guys, like school kids,
They
they
teleport where?
they suddenly discover that they can teleport.
Okay.
And they just teleport to different parts of the world and then get all kinds of
Remember
shenanigans.
Space 99?
No.
These two won't remember it. I really remember this. It's a classic show. Like it's actually famous out there in the West, where the moon explodes and floats away.
That's bonkers.
I'm not kidding.
Like, in a good way, though.
I'm not kidding. It's this really old show, but this point came up again like some months back when we were talking about this. Like Sri Lanka always gets its shows 10 years later.
Right.
All the music and all the shows. So one of my friends who is in Amsterdam, Udit Umesh on Twitter. So he was saying like all his Dutch friends are like, his older Dutch friends are like really impressed that he knows their culture, that age group's culture, and he has to explain like in Sri Lanka everything came 10 years later. So he knows the older culture. So
He's gonna appreciate the shout out. He listens to us.
so Space 99. Even at the time I thought this was completely ridiculous, but turns out it's really famous. I had no idea. So it's about a moon base that's extracting energy from the moon's core and all of that. Something goes wrong, and half the moon explodes, and its momentum propels the moon out of Earth's orbit, and it's like this asteroid that's just floating away into space with a moon base on it. And all the people in there have like all this shit that happens to them with aliens and whatnot, and it's nuts.
Are they living under like a dome or something?
Yeah. So how they lasted a long time without air or supplies, I have no idea.
That stuff is not important.
Yeah, but it's either IDN on Sundays in the morning or something like that.
What was the show with a group of computer hackers?
Crash Zone.
Crash Zone.
Yeah.
Crash Zone.
I like
was
that
a-
too.
They were game developers.
There was a game developer. There was an AI, and
Yeah,
would
Australia.
wreak
That
havoc.
was gorgeous.
Yeah,
I
that was
missed
good.
that. And remember Ghost Rider?
Oh, Ghost Rider
That
was
was
awesome.
American,
Yeah.
right?
That was American,
That was
yeah.
American.
I remember that black kid, Jamal or whoever. Yeah.
There's a couple of educational shows that no one remembers, which I'm sad about. At the same
Mathnet
time,
and stuff. Mathnet and
yeah, like when Sesame Street was going on, ITN had this thing called Square One Television,
I remember Square One.
and 3-2-1 Contact. It was this very scientific show, but
Square One was all about math, right?
That was all about
There were
math.
about two detectives who go around.
That's
That
part
was
of
solving-
it.
yeah.
That was math, and this was like a sub
But there
show.
were other shows on that as well, right?
Mm.
Inside the
It was basically a sketch count. Just the half an hour SNL, but just math.
Oh yeah. This was much later, but you guys, all of you probably remember the Zack Files.
Mm.
Yeah. I think everybody had a crush on that girl. What's her name?
Oh shit. I don't.
Was she? Did she become someone famous?
I don't know. I think so, maybe. Yeah. And Popular Mechanics for Kids.
That
Discovery
everyone
Channel,
remembers.
Alicia Cuthbert.
Nisha Cuthbert, that everyone remembers.
She was in 24, right? The first
Yeah.
couple of seasons.
She was in 24.
She was Jack Bauer's daughter.
Jack Bauer's daughter. Yeah. And of course, Spellbinder. Spellbinder was a huge hit here. Massive hit.
It doesn't get any bigger than Spellbinder.
I think like, even recently they were doing
Yeah,
reruns.
they're doing reruns, yeah. Both seasons, right?
Both seasons. Land of the Dragon Lord.
Did it get cancelled in Australia? What happened? Were they?
I mean, they didn't make more than 2 seasons, I
It,
think.
Ah,
it
yeah,
was
you
a
just-
joint production with some Polish
Oh, right.
company. Right?
Was
That's
that why Rihanna was?
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the actors in the first scene
They're
was
Polish.
like Polish, and the second one was with some, I guess, Chinese
Oh, right.
production company.
Yeah. So it just kind of ended, like.
Kind of
okay,
ended.
Yeah.
Right.
With nothing, it petered out.
Well, it was good, but it lasted.
It was.
Yeah.
And, like, even the CGI wasn't terrible for its
Yeah.
time.
Was there CGI?
Yeah,
There was a
like
lot
the
of practical effects.
No, the flying
Ah, the
ships,
flying
the
thing,
ships were CGI. And the electric bolts
Oh,
from
yeah.
the suit.
I really liked Around the Twist.
People still talk about that.
Yeah. And like the actors change from season to season because the kids are like growing out of it. I think
I don't remember this.
it ran for a long
Long
time in
time.
Australia. I think 10 years or something.
It's like a classic in the
Mm.
down under. People still
Was
talk.
it the one of like? Is there a lighthouse
Yeah,
involved?
That's
I
the
don't
one.
know.
That's the
Family living in
one.
a
Lighthouse, and weird
Strange
shit
thing
keeps
happen.
happening as we're going.
Strange
Things
things
happen.
happen.
Going around the twist.
The family was called the Twists, I think.
So moving on from entertainment, there were quite a few popular infotainment shows like documentaries and things like that. Do you remember America's Wild America?
Yes.
With,
Martin Stauffer.
Martin Stauffer. That theme, man.
Wild America. I
That's
can't
a
do that. I
classic,
can't do the accent.
that was classic.
And there was a show on Rupavahini where they do Antarjale Obata or something.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Where they basically surf the internet for half an hour
yes.
on
And then
national
show it.
television.
Yes.
That was the show. People would ask about Ocean Girl and they'd like look up Ocean Girl on the website and like show like the
That
casting.
was- yeah. Oh wow.
Was this in the Internet in a Box days? Do you remember Internet in a Box? That was a package they introduced. I think not Telecom, some company back in the day.
The first internet provider was like Lankacom
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah.
There was a Singtel subsidiary.
Right.
It's still around.
Yeah.
Lankacom is still around. They still do the leased lines and stuff.
I thought Internet in a Box was a ID crowd reference.
I miss Travelers.
Oh
Yeah,
God, yeah,
everyone
Travelers
misses
was the
Travelers.
shit, man.
Those
Everyone.
guys had the time of their life.
Yeah.
I remember they went to India and they lost all their luggage.
They were the Try Guys before the Try Guys. Like
And
you-
even Globe Trekker or
Yeah.
Lonely Planet. as
Lonely
it was
Planet.
called.
And Buck Stackhorn on Discovery Kids.
Yes.
Oh, he was hilarious.
Yes. Yes.
That was
Discovery Kids had like.
Extreme Machines.
That was
New
nice.
Detectives.
Oh wow,
what
I
was
love
it?
that. I love New Detectives.
Movie Magic.
Mega Movie
Mega
Magic.
Movie
Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they ended up repeating the same show over and over and over again.
There was a show
Long
called
time.
Splat about animation.
Splat was
Yeah.
nice. Especially like Mega Movie Magic kept doing Starship Troopers over and over again. I remember that. They were doing.
But it would be like actually magic to us, right? We didn't
Yeah.
know this like.
It's the
how
only way to
green
look at
screen
like
was
behind the scenes
used.
footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember TNL actually brought Discovery first, not
No.
Rupavahini.
What?
TNL brought Discovery first.
Really?
Yeah, they had it for a while, for a couple of hours in the evening, around 3 and 4. And
They had MTV.
they had MTV, but they had Discovery too. And they all
You know, back when MTV used to play music.
yes, and back when before it was MTV India.
Yeah.
When ETV brought MTV, when ETV started showing MTV,
Then they switched to VH1.
VH1.
yeah, for a very brief time they showed MTV USA,
Right.
and that was fantastic. It wasn't just even music; they had like really good panel shows, like game shows and shit. And then it suddenly flipped to MTV India, and it was pretty much all either pop songs or.
Well, I actually
Bollywood
enjoyed
songs.
MTV India for, like TNL days. Like, you remember MTV Select? Shakil? No, what's her name?
I don't remember her name.
And Most Wanted.
That was good. But then all the shows disappeared.
Yeah.
That's a sad thing.
And we had a couple of copycat shows on Sirius.
Rasarisiki.
No, not Rasari. Not Sinhala. It was English. This SFM guy.
But Rasarisiki was
Rasari,
like
yeah, that's
cultural phenomenon.
Yeah,
People still.
Man, I really wish they would bring it back.
Yeah. People still wish they'd do a show together, Tanuja and
Yeah, they really should. They were like awesome.
Tanuja isn't like a big at CS, right?
Didn't you leave?
I think she left. Narada left a long time ago, right?
Mm.
Yeah. He's been doing a lot of things, like comparing and shit like that.
Narada did some like environmental shows. Also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I think for Rupavahini, yeah.
Oh, remember Ganga Dige?
Was that his?
Sarisara.
Sarisara.
Gangadige was Jackson.
Sarisara is more recent, no?
Sarisara was it mid 2000s?
Do you remember Kadamal?
Yes.
Arun Das
Arun Das
Mandana.
Mandana.
And Namepa.
Yeah. 95, eh?
Not Namepa, not 95, Namepa. Hemanarin Karnataka.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he died.
He died.
Man, that was.
He started his own TV channel called Heritage TV or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
right?
And then he became a big at Swarnavahini.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. He got kicked out of that.
Actually, Swarnavahini had its own Namepa, right? For a while? Yeah, it did. For a very brief period, I think. Because that was kind of his legacy, right?
Yeah.
When he came to
I think
Swarnavahini.
Namebaha popularized Bopatala.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people started going there.
Oh,
like,
And then, of course, Atapattama, which has been there forever.
Adapatam, early days Adapatam was nice, man. Now it's
Atapattama
like-
was great when there was no YouTube.
Yes. Yes.
True. Now they just curate stuff off the internet.
Yes.
Even like Mulpitua has a section where they do like YouTube videos, right?
Really?
Balanna Nayani.
My God.
Remember Sellangala?
Yeah.
The
You
one
haven't
where
seen
the
that?
kids would like make like stuff and like
Yeah.
there'd be a bus with like
It's a
sticks.
Sellang Kedara.
Oh.
Yeah.
And for the Sellang, what they do is like they role play like real life situations of adults. Like it's not. I mean, it's a
Which way is it
little
picture?
funny, I guess. No, but I mean they don't tackle like major themes. It's just they try to make it relatable to kids. It was okay. It was going on for a while. My girlfriend has been in it.
Oh, wow, okay. So you must have watched it religiously.
No, I didn't know her back then.
Right.
I mean, now you can find out.
Go and look for reruns and shit. Okay.
Oh man.
Do you remember Hapampadura? And Punchi?
I auditioned for Vampedura.
Oh my god.
Didn't get in, thankfully.
Why thankfully?
Wow. Look at all these revelations
What was the
today.
other one? What was the kids' society?
Lamasa Mudhara Lamasa Maje.
Mudhara.
I heard Pamudita and Bo have like a rap
Memberships?
thing, like out of it, like it's called Lamasa Maje. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I
It's
heard the
great.
track. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It you saw the Thanos meme, right?
Yeah.
Now the Mudhara song says Samadama Yukti Itu Lastan Loak Sadam. And it's Thanos' picture with that overlaid on it, like Titan Tunsi Dixega Mudhara Lama Samaje.
And I think Pamudita and Bo made a song out of it. Or
Yeah.
which came first though? I'm
No.
not sure.
Meme came first.
Okay.
Bo made a song sampling the Mudhara
Ah, right. Okay.
theme song.
Oh, that's another timeless classic. That theme song. I actually remember like. I pretty much all of it, the words and everything.
Like even that and the Blue Boy and ITN theme songs are like
Yeah.
pretty much drilled into my head.
And Iboan.
And Iboan. Before it was Shanida
Yeah.
Iboan. I remember when Premaki with you was the
I vaguely remember Prema Kirti, yeah. I remember Jackson Anthony hosting Iboan
I
a
don't
long time ago.
I
Like
don't
91,
remember.
92 maybe. Like, that's when he was just starting out. And he wasn't a serious actor by any means. Then he was just a TV guy. But man, did that guy go places, right?
I think it was with the loss of his hair.
Like his career trajectory has been fascinating, like over the past 2-3 decades. You know?
I thought you liked him.
I mean, he's a good actor, but he tends to overact a bit. But
Doesn't everybody? I
Yeah.
think
that's my beef with Buddhadas also. He also likes to overact a little bit. Yeah,
no.
little-
So I think that's because they're all theatre actors.
yeah.
It
Yeah, it comes from a place of
it's
yeah.
a thing. Like not everyone translates from theatre to the film screen. Like doesn't leave the overacting behind on the stage.
Yeah, Jackson was excellent in Nenagisodu.
Yes.
That was a theatre. That was all theatre. So he, I guess maybe you probably have a point about
that's
that.
the thing. Like I've noticed that with other people who I've like personally met,
Yeah.
who are like on stage and
Mm.
like when in front of the camera they use what they've learned on stage to use
Oh,
it,
right,
and that
right.
comes off too much for the
Yeah,
camera.
yeah.
So
But then you get people like Jayalat Manoratna.
Yeah, Jalad Manoratna is a pretty chill out. No,
Mm.
he doesn't act much.
No, he doesn't.
He should be acting, no, because I think he's one of the better actors we have.
Or remember when ITN used to film stage plays and show them?
No.
They still have some clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like Guru Daruwo and all?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
They used to Guru Daruwo and some other play like very much like Ingama. I remember they filmed. They used to get them to act out the play on their sound stage, record it, and then broadcast it.
Oh, yeah. And what about film? 90s, early 2000s?
Saptakan.
Saptakan. Ah, that's a classic. Was that Sangeeta's first film? No, actually no. Love Actually. Sorry, not Love Actually. Shit. What was it called? It's a Matter of Love,
It's
right?
a Matter of Love.
Yeah.
That's Sangeeta's first movie.
No, It's a Matter of Love was the second movie, right?
It's Out of Time. Sorry.
It's a Matter
Yes,
of Time. That
It's
was
Out
the
of
first
Time.
one. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
That was Sangeeta's first. She was what, a teenager in that?
Yeah, I think so. I think she was 16 or 17.
Oh wow.
She was really young in that.
It was her and Kamal Adaraj, you know.
Kamal is in that. Ranjan is in that.
Ranjan Ramanai?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ranjan is in that. Gamini Fonseca is in that. Yeah, it's a pretty good cast.
Yeah.
No, I like Gamini Fonseca. There's actual acting in that. The rest of them just phone it in.
Okay.
It's very blatantly obvious. They just phone it in, even for very new actors.
Yeah.
Whatever they phone
I guess
it
everybody
in.
was just excited to be in an all English film, right?
Gamini Fonseca goes the full mile, and I still love the scene where he slaps the shit out of Kamalath. It's fantastic. I used to remember the dialogue. I don't remember the dialogue now, but it's fantastic.
Is it online?
Yeah. Torana put it on the channel.
On YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I downloaded it just in case, but it's on YouTube.
Is there music?
Music, I don't
Dance around
think.
the trees kind of stuff? No, nothing.
There's some background music, but not like actual musical scenes.
The 90s was also famous for his so-called adults-only movies, starting with Age Vaira and
I don't know. I was a kid.
that famous director, what's his name? Louis Van der Straten.
Van der Straten.
Yeah. He made a series of those, right? He was kind of notorious for those.
I honestly have not. I
Like all softcore
admit I wanted to see these, but I have not.
They're
ever
all on
seen
YouTube.
these.
They're all on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. The whole bunch of them, they're on YouTube.
So
Are they-
uncensored?
Huh?
Uncensored?
No,
There's nothing
there's
to
nothing to
censor.
censor.
Oh, right.
Like, they don't even show, like, tits. It's
Yeah.
just,
Okay. So, right, okay.
It's just very softcore.
Yeah.
Now you see it on network TV kind of shit.
Okay.
Like back then it was like
I don't know if they cut any of the scenes for YouTube, but that's unlikely,
I
right?
doubt
Yeah.
it. No.
It's all very, like, it's a lot of implied, barely simulated sex. And it's a whole lot of groping, and that's it.
Okay.
And it's obviously very seedy and very just like the writing is not exactly, but occasionally they would somehow cast like very good actors. Like Veena Jayakodi was in one, I remember. A
Oh
couple.
yeah.
The undisputed queen of Sri Lanka and softcore is Sumana Gomez, of course. Yeah.
Wait, someone we know is a big fan of
Crystal.
Crystal.
Of course.
Shout out to Krista.
Crystal is supposed to come on the podcast one of these days.
Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Sumana Gomez was. More power to her. She, I think she made a comeback recently. No, she was in the papers. And God, stop. I meant she is back. And
Oh my god, I just got it.
Okay, so Subhana Gomez's comeback story. What do you have to say?
no, I meant she made headlines recently for. She had just kind of, I don't know, she had disappeared, right? Like, and then
But does she still act?
I don't think so.
She doesn't act.
I mean, you can't really call it acting, to be honest.
I don't remember if this is accurate or not, but I think she has a YouTube channel now,
Oh wow, okay.
and possibly it's a makeup YouTube channel
Good for her. Damn.
because she migrated.
Oh.
She's not in Sri Lanka anymore. She for a decade I think she's been in the States or something.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna search for Subhana Gomez on YouTube.
Wow.
We should have just asked Crystal.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we need to have Crystal on board for this.
No makeup channels here.
then I got it.
What kind of makeup tutorials have you been watching, Dilly? Yeah, okay, but seriously, like apart from the adult movies, there were some really good Sri Lankan films back in the day. Like that's when like all these art house guys kind of started coming to the scene, right? Prasanna Vitanage, Asoka Anagama, and
I don't remember. One was in the 90s and one was in the 2000s.
no, there were a lot of like really corny ass, cheesy ass fuck films. They were basically like Bollywood rip-offs.
Yes.
And
The whole running around
Yeah.
Tiradeniya gardens.
with Shashi Vijayendra, Jeevan Kumaratunga,
Yeah.
that crowd. Shashi Vijayendra, I only found out like a few years ago,
Yeah,
recently,
yeah.
that he was actually Muslim and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
changed his name to Shashi Vijayendra, right?
Wasn't a few years ago, like.
He resurfaced after a while, right?
Seriously,
Yeah.
seriously,
Interview,
or so I know seriously did the
Seriously,
interview.
did an interview with him, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he looked nothing like what we remember. He was, yeah.
I don't think they made any actual good films in the 90s, did they?
Yeah. Vijay Kumaratunga had a few.
Vijay wasn't even alive.
No, some of his films came out in the 90s. though,
Really?
Like, Nombaradahat came out in 91. It was probably shot in, obviously, before he died in the 80s, but it came out in like 91, I think.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know.
That was one of his more, that was one of his better known films.
Mm.
Him and Freddie Silva, Dilani.
Mm.
I actually remember going to the cinema to see it, but I don't remember any of them. There was like a fight scene between him and Sanat Gunatilak, and I think walked out. I was too scared.
I walked out of Jurassic Park. That was scary.
Oh, yeah. That was in 93, right?
Yeah, 93, 94.
Did it actually come here in 93?
Yeah,
Yeah, it did. Yeah?
Liberty.
Liberty, yeah. I was on the front row. It was terrible. Yeah.
That was actually scary as shit.
Yeah, it was. And it ran for, I think, a while, like a
It
month
ran
or
for
two,
a
I think,
while.
yeah. Because they used to take school kids. They also used to take school kids to see Titanic.
Yes.
Fucking weird.
but I think they cut the scenes
They cut
out.
that
the
scene,
scenes out. Remember Anaconda? Was
Oh,
that,
yeah.
That was the 2000s.
Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube.
Yes.
Yeah. That was, early 2000s.
That
That was
all-
bad. That was a terrible film. But it was really fun though.
But it was a big hit here.
Yeah, it was.
And
Here, right? For
yeah,
some
it
weird
was
reason.
huge
Because
here.
it's J-Lo, I don't know.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge as a snake here, and like that.
Wow.
That's how.
Did anyone catch that? It was apparently as huge as a snake. Thanks, Jilly.
No, I mean, remember how this kickstarted the whole Henna Kandaya thing?
Oh shit, yeah.
That anaconda comes from Henna Kandaya in Sri Lanka.
That's not actually true, right?
I have no idea if it's true, but that discussion is out there. That discussion started because that film
I
was
remember
such a big
JRP
hit.
Soora Pappa said that on TV. once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's another flashback. Bad, terrible.
What? Soora Pappa?
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Is he now? He's not dead, is he?
I have no
He's
idea,
not
actually.
dead.
He's not dead.
He's definitely not. He's probably not dead because remember he used to say that.
I remember once he publicly called Ranil a ponne on national TV.
Oh wow.
I remember him saying he eats like a bowl of gotu kola and something every day so that he'll live to 101 or something.
It seems to be working for him. He was also in Jackson's history discussion show. What was that called? The Mahasingale Vansakatha. Man, was that jingoistic or what? a lot of revisionist history.
I remember someone calling into that show and saying මේ ජැක්සන් මහත්තයෝ ඔයාලා මේ ලංකාවේ ඉතිහාසය හොද මඩේ දානවා කියලා.
Ouch.
I remember some woman calling in and saying that.
Wow. Oh, she had balls.
Yeah.
Because this one, what's his name? Puravidya Chakravarti,
Ella
Ellavadana was also in it, right?
Mm.
And he was not one to be messed with.
And
Yeah.
Mario Mandis Rohandiya.
Oh yeah, shit. Oh yeah, he also kind of disappeared.
Mm.
Did he die?
Did he?
He did. He died. Yeah, he died.
That would do it.
Yeah. I remember Jackson being like all pompous and shit in that show. That was, I think, the start of his downfall.
I guess. Yeah. He didn't host shows before that, ne?
He did a long time ago. On I-Born and all, he did.
No, like on Swanavahini.
Oh, no, not really. But he was also a big shot at Soora, remember?
He
He was
joined
like
as
an
a big
executive
shot.
director or something,
Yeah,
right?
he joined as a director. Him and Hemanalin were
Yeah.
the big shots in
Yeah.
like Swanavahini's heyday, I guess.
It's surprising he never took up politics.
Yeah.
Does he need to?
He doesn't really need to. I think he likes playing politics like through proxies, maybe. Remember that one time he, I mean, this was quite recently, where he tried to link one of our former presidents to the Buddha himself. No, you don't remember?
No, I don't remember this.
It was on live TV, the live telecast of the finale of a popular singing competition, reality TV, and the first family was in the audience, and he was like he was monologuing for about 20 minutes. He was going on about how King Siddhartha, so you can like trace his descendants, and you can find a link to a certain family that rules this country.
Damn.
Yeah. That's one of the low points of his career.
Speaking of reality, do we need to mention Superstar?
Oh yeah.
Remember, and all the Shihan Mihyang craziness.
That was late 2000s, right? Or mid? I was in school, definitely.
2006, yeah. Shihan!
And Malit.
Malit. Dude, have you seen Malit lately?
Now, yes.
He is jacked.
Proper gym bro.
I saw this because you kept sharing this everywhere.
I was not sharing it everywhere. I just sent you a
Everywhere.
link to his Instagram, okay?
I'm
sorry, he's looking different. He's let's just say he's not what we remember. Chanchala will do a lot more than just crying if he sees him now. අඩල නවතින්නේ නැහැ චංචලතා. ඒ මලිත් ගහන්න අමාරුද? මොකද සයිස් එක අම්මර. මලිත් අනිත් පැත්තට කෙල්ලා හරි. No, seriously, the guy is buff. He's a fucking beefcake. So yeah, Malit was apparently moved to Australia and he underwent this complete transformation apparently where he's
Injected with gamma rays.
I don't fucking know. And apparently had like a personality makeover also, I think, because he's even got an accent. Yeah, like a slight an Aussie accent, and he sings.
I mean, if you
English
live in
music.
If you
Australia
live there
long
for
enough,
a
you
couple
pick
of years,
up
then you
enough.
do get an accent. You
Yeah,
pick up.
he lived there. I mean, he was already an adult when he was on Superstar, right?
Okay.
Yeah, plenty of
But that
people-
happens.
yeah,
I
that
have
happens.
friends.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah. So.
What's with you and accents? Kumar?
I too have friends who fake accents. Yeah.
Oh, when you said gamma rays, remember the old Hulk show?
Dude, that was the shit, man.
That was the shit.
What was his name? David. He died. The guy
He
who played
died.
the
He
Hulk. He
died.
died.
No, Lou Ferrigno.
No, not Lou Ferrigno. The other
the
guy.
who played
Yeah.
Baxter died.
Banner. Yeah.
Banner. Sorry. Banner
Yeah.
died.
David Banner. He was not Bruce Banner in that show. For some reason, they changed the name to David Banner. Was it because Batman was Bruce?
I don't know. Man. That was a nice show.
Yeah.
It was very kung fu.
There was a TV movie that came from that with Hulk and Thor.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I don't know.
with
if
Lou Ferrigno and this guy David Banner and the God of Thunder
Really?
with his hammer and everything. Yeah, it should be online. It's it's cheesy as fuck, but for its time it was pretty cool.
Actually, remember kung fu?
Oh yeah,
Carradine's thing.
he was in Kill Bill, right?
Yes, he was
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah, that was an interesting show.
I remember this in the beginning. If maybe it's just because I was so little and I didn't realize it, but in the beginning they showed it like very disjointed because I remember seeing the Kung Fu Temple, the Shaolin training bit like way later.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it as a kid. The philosophy of it or
Yeah,
anything
like
is
way later.
yeah,
Like the whole grasshopper bit and
Yeah.
all of that.
like completely flew over my head. I didn't get any of it.
Like, I don't think I've still seen it completely,
Yeah.
like from beginning to end. But I loved that. Was a nice show. And it like much later it really pissed me off that Soora started showing Stargate and ended it at the cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
And never showed season 2.
Everyone was like so bad at continuity, right? They'd,
Right?
like,
Yeah,
not
they just
play
didn't give a
any-
shit and just like
yeah.
stuff. But thankfully, X Files they saw it through.
Did
All
they?
9 seasons. Yeah, all 9 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah. And Night Ride, I suppose. No,
I think so.
Even Night Rider did sometimes.
Did they?
no it just
like
kind of
stuff
stopped.
like-
Did they cancel it in the US before it ended?
I don't know, but like they'd play episodes out of order.
Yeah,
It would,
they-
like
yeah.
totally mess up like the
they
yeah.
would.
I don't think they give a shit about character arcs or anything. Just story arcs. It's like okay, whatever. A car jumping. Okay, that's. Also, we should mention that Sirasa did some really good dubbing work with the
Throwback
movies
was amazing.
and the animated shows like Cow the Boy and Soora Pappa. That was all again thanks to Gaminda Previraj and Sunet Chitranand, Podimalli and Chotimalli. And their approach to dubbing was also quite different from Rupahani in that they were a bit more casual in their language, more
Yeah.
everyday, and they tried to make it as local. They had to localize it as possible, and that made it a bit more relatable, I think, to Sri Lankan audiences.
Completely
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, that it made a big difference.
Yeah, it did. Like the jokes are funnier for it, you know. It was like sometimes I think, frankly, worked better in Sinhala some of the jokes than in English, like in Soora Pappa, for example. Yeah. So all right then. So this has been interesting. We're yapping on for a good hour or so, and clearly we could go on about this forever. Maybe we'll catch up again sometime soon with the same guys. And thanks, Dilly and Shav, for joining us. All right, we'll catch you guys soon. Peace. We'll have these guys on also with. No, she's calling me. I'll pick her up later. I'm supposed to go and cook actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
you cook now?
No, I just
Yeah,
thought I'd try
yeah.
something.
Please
today.
leave that in the final.
No. I'll try and make some noodles.
I remember one of Himal's earliest articles was how he helped make cow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's in the Mirror magazine. Oh my god.
So that's
They made me do it.
2000s.
Yeah. That's part of the nostalgia.
I don't even know why I'm laughing.
Okay, you can cut that part out.